Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode. This is episode 11 of Atari Man 71 plays his video game collection, Atari 2600 collection. Tonight we have three more games. We have Night Driver, Golf, and Maze Craze. I'll let you know that I don't have experience with any of these games other than the brief amount that I played the games in preparation for the episode. I did not know anyone that had these as a kid, but we'll get into the history. I'm also trying to let you know this is Pac-Man week, so the week is going to end. I'm going to play Pac-Man on Friday, and I'm not really that good at it, but I have this Pac-Man hat, and I just recently purchased this retro Pac-Man. I think it's from the 80s. This Pac-Man mug that has my Kool-Aid. I'll take a drink right now from it. And it's Pac-Man week, so I know that was a big game for everyone as a kid. So I'll celebrate it with my hat and my mug this week. So anyway, we'll get into this week's episode. And the first game on the docket is Night Driver. It was released in 1980. It takes the paddle controller, and like I said, I don't have much experience with this game. Essentially, it's a simple racing game that was ported to the Atari from the arcade version. It was a really popular arcade version, and it was somewhat popular as an Atari game. The right difficulty switch controls your top speed, and the left difficulty switch makes the oncoming traffic honk. So if it's easy, you put them both in B. If you put the right difficulty to A, the oncoming traffic doesn't honk. If the left difficulty is at A, your top speed goes up. You basically want to avoid hitting the markers on the side of the road or the oncoming traffic. Oh, it's not oncoming, it's going in the same direction, but the other cars. And I will say, I played this a little bit. It was decent, from all the racing games that I've played so far. I think this is the best. I really not played that many. I think this is the third one. But I think this is probably the best. It's almost like first person. It's not quite first person because you're third person because you see the car in the middle of the screen. And actually, the car doesn't move. It's stationary, and you move the road as you steer left and right. And the controls are pretty good. But overall, it's a decent game. VGR ratings for this game, the graphics is 2, which is reasonable, and for the time I think this was pretty reasonable. The playability is 3, which is worth playing. I'd agree with that. I think it's called Night Driver because I've done a little research on, how the programs in Atari 2600 work, and basically there's a field view, which is you set the color, and then it will always color the field in that. And this was pretty early on, 1980. It was 3 years in, but it could have been Day Driver had they made the field view green and then switched it to black where the road was, and then switched it back to green on the other side. But it's pretty complicated, I guess, to do all that. And this was a pretty early game, and like I said, it's a reasonable game. I had a little fun playing it. Okay, so I will turn my static off. That's right here. I will put in the cartridge and turn it on. So here you see the game. You don't have much control. You don't have much control over figuring out which controller it is. I played it, so I know which controller it is. So we'll get into it. We'll play game 1. It's a 90-second game. It's timed, and it's the easiest track. So I think the timer starts when you hit the red button on the paddle. Oof. Crashed already. Boy, I'm hitting every car on the road. I don't know how I missed that one. Oof. Sharp turn. I am going full throttle, so I think that like I said, this is actually somewhat fun. From the racing games I've played, this is, this is probably the most like, like pole position and stuff like that came later on. The other games are just overhead racers, and I find those a little tiresome. Whoops, didn't steer away. I am not a good driver. Don't know how I avoided that one. Oof. Oof. 2 crashes in a row. Oh, 3! I'm killing myself. Okay, so 36 points. That's pretty much what I got in practice as well. 36 points. It's 90 seconds. You score a point for every car you pass, I think is how it works. And then they said game 5. So we'll switch to game 5. So this is game 5. So this is the same thing, same track, no time limit. So we'll run through this and see how far we can go. I mean, I guess, whoops, I crashed into that one last time. I guess you can go forever on this track. Maybe we'll switch it up and do higher speed at some point. And no honking. Woo! Crashed into the turn. Oof. I don't crash into a lot of cars in this game, and it's surprising. But the graphics are pretty basic. Ooh, that's a tight. I won't say I was out of control there, but I was out of control there. Terrible. If you ask one of my buddies, he'd say this is typical of me in a driving game. I know in Need for Speed, I'd always hit the walls when I was playing in that, because I don't really pay attention to the car. I don't really know where to look in a racing game to predict the track. I look either too close to the car or too far, and I end up oversteering. See, now that pole is sticking out a little bit. I've noticed that as I'm driving by. Some of them stick out to make you crash. That one there's sticking out. There's a bottleneck in the road and for a little way further up. Oof. The cars look funny when you smash into them. Oh man. I'll go over 100 points because I did it. I think 99 points is the most that it can register. Sorry. And you see how I said this is not oncoming traffic. It's traveling in, I think that's the back of the car. If that's the front of the car, I don't know what kind of car it's supposed to be. Looks like a Plymouth. Quite honestly, those of you remember Plymouths. Plymouth Duster. That was a big car back in the day. My cousin's sister had one. She was actually my cousin too, but the cousin that had the Atari, his sister had one. '85. 94. Oof. I look up at the score and those ones that stick out get me every time. 96, 97, 98. I guess when you pass houses too. 99, 0. So yeah, you see it wraps around. See, I'm getting better actually as I play it. It's actually a pretty fun game. It's not too terrible. So what we're going to do now is we're going to switch the difficulty. So we're going to do faster top speed and no honking. I'll reset it. And we'll see how I do on this. I've not played it on this level before, but we'll see how it goes. Woo, that's a lot faster. That is a lot faster. Oof. That's a tight hairpin. Pretty easy to crash. I'd be willing to bet it takes a while to master this game on this speed, and you probably don't want to go full throttle all the time, because those little bottlenecks there, or when the road turns, pretty tight turn, man, I'm doing terrible. So I think when you get bored of the game at the slow speed, this may actually add a lot of challenge to it. Because you see how terribly I'm doing here. I'm crashing into everything. And I was doing okay in the slower speed. Oof. Those tight turns, man. They get you every time. Okay, so you see I'm a terrible driver. So I'm going to switch it back to B, and I'm going to switch to game 8, which is the randomly generated. Was it 4 and 8? What was the difference between those two? So this is a randomly generated track. I knew I was going to hit that car. Oh, right into the wall. So I wonder how far this is randomly generated. I couldn't imagine this in the high speed. Oh my goodness, I'm terrible. So I'm guessing there's just elements to a track, and the game just has a randomizer, and it just puts them, you know, it loads one in, and then, you know, the sequence that it loads them is just changed based on a random number. Because I know these programs aren't very complicated. Okay, well that's it for Night Driver. Like I said, it's actually a pretty fun game. You know, they rated it as worth playing in VGR list. I would actually rate it as fun. I think it's better than a lot of the games I've already played, and you know, maybe it's because I hadn't really seen it prior to doing this. You know, I've had the game, but I've never really played it that much. You know, I became obsessed with getting the cartridges and not really playing them. So it was actually a pretty good game, and you know, if you have it, I'd recommend playing it. So the next two games use the joystick controller, so I'm going to have to unplug my paddles here, as I regularly do. Unfortunately, there's two of them, so... And then I'll put... So I got a new... I think it's my favorite joystick. So this is the joystick. It's a Wiko command controller. but the handle is a little different on the top. And I've said I have some hand mobility issues based on some health issues I had last year. And the larger stick, is a little easier for me to control. There's the button on the base and the button on the top. And the other one switches between the two. This one is actually a little different. It switches between this button on the top and the other thing uses both the base and the top button. So you can hit either one and it'll activate whatever the button press does. It's interesting. I prefer it on the top because my left hand really isn't that good. But you know, if sometimes you need to switch between the two, you can with this controller. So it's actually quickly becoming my favorite controller. These Wiko controllers are easy to hold, and this one, being bigger in my hand that I have limited mobility, it makes it a little better. So the next game on the list is golf. This is a game, it's pretty simple. It's like the first Atari golf game. I think there's maybe others, but I will get into the history of this game a little bit. So golf was released in 1980. It uses the joystick, as I mentioned. And I don't really have any experience in this game either. I think I knew someone that had it, but we never played it. I mean, golf was not interesting to us as kids. There are a lot of instructions with this game, and it's basically, I think, a fair attempt to represent golf in an 8-bit world. In researching the game, I read a satirical article from Golf Digest that actually said the game isn't that hard, but it doesn't obey the physics. So, in my playing for preparation for this, I found that it was almost like, it's like golf, but if you just remember the swing has to be in the opposite direction of how you want the ball to go, and then also your club needs to be lined up perpendicular, which is a 90-degree angle to how you want the ball to travel. So those are the two things that I think you need to look at, and you hold the button in, and I think the button on this controller needs a little cleaning because it releases early sometimes. But you hold the button in and swing back, and then you let it go and it swings forward. The further it swings back, the harder the ball gets hit, and the farther the ball goes. The VGR ratings on this game, the graphics are 3, which is decent graphics, and the playability is 3, which is worth playing. So Atari Age has the instructions on this. So thank you to them again for collecting these instructions and putting them out there, because playing these games, you can figure them out because there's not a lot of controls here, but it definitely makes it easier if you have a reference to refer to. And the instructions got thrown out by everyone. So this is the game. So there's two games in here. There's 1 and 2, and that's just the number of players. So we're going to play 1. So I'm going to reset it. So like I said, the club needs to be perpendicular to how you want the ball to go. And as you move around, you'll see that the club switches. And so I'm going to cover the ball with the end of the club. And so I push the button, it'll swing back, and then when I let it go, it swings forward. That's terrible. So I hit basically out of bounds. So here, this is basically where I assume the baseball bat position, and it looks like a baseball player because of the brim of his hat. So I'm not in the rough. So I will... Okay, just enough. And so I need to go up a little bit, and then I need to cover the ball. Okay, so I'm going to hit this and try to hit it on the green. So do a 3/4 swing. Oh, maybe should have done a half swing. So now here, I'll show you. So I moved back because I was swinging the wrong direction. That would have just hit it into the rough. So here, so I'm on stroke 3, so I'm swinging 4. Okay, so now I'm on the green, and it's pretty big. So now it's just a straight shot. So I guess that's as close to straight as you can get. And I move up. So, oh, should have hit it a little harder, Stu. Okay, so six shots. So now I'm going to put it. So that's the other thing. The club always points toward the hole, is what it said. But that was the thing that confused me, because this isn't really pointed toward the hole. So I'll just wind up on this one. Oof, that shot pretty far. In between the trees. Now see, that didn't shoot as far as that first shot. Oh, ooh, right on the green, just like I had planned. So I guess you can go over the hazards. So in this one, it's important the way you face, right? So that would swing it the other way. This would swing it the correct way. So, man, these short shots, I do not have a good short game. Okay. So now we got to go around this hazard. And so we're going to pull it back and let it go. Yeah, I figured that would happen. So now I'm going to have to go around the hazard. Well, yeah, I think you need to, you can't shoot over out of bounds. I think once it hits out of bounds, it's out of bounds. So this is interesting because I can basically hit it straight. Because that'll swing it the wrong way. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. Hitting the tree. Oh yeah, I can swing it like this. That's right. So that was my bad. I could have hit it and not. No, I can't. Let's see what this does. Yeah, this does the right way. Okay. So like I said, it's a little getting used to the golf. So now I'm on the green. Got it. Okay, so this is a par 4 and there's a water hazard. So I believe I need to go underneath this. And it looks completely wrong to me. See if we can get over the water hazard or go into it. Oh, we went past it. Okay. Ooh! That was an eagle. I got it in 2. So I'm sitting 20. Hey, I'll take it. This game is not that easy. So I've gotten a birdie. Now I've gotten an eagle. I don't know how many of you are familiar with golf, but those are good. Oh, that's going to be, yeah, in the sand trap. So when it's in the sand trap, it actually disappears. and your power needs to be double. So you see how the end of the club turns orange there? That, I think, means it's over the ball. I don't know if you hear this controller squeaks just a little bit. Ugh, I knew that was going to happen. That's too much. Man, I'm terrible at this short game. Oh no! So I should switch to this side. And be beneath it. Nope. On top. And see, that's the thing that's nice, is you can actually move your golfer out of the way if you figure out, oh, I'm doing it the wrong way. Okay. See if we can do this one better now. Okay. Oof. Got a tree in the way. So I think I will need to go down here to do it the right way. Nope. Should have stuck with my instinct. Now, if you hit the tree, whew, got close on all of that. Now par is 5 on this hole, so I can get an eagle here if I can figure out how to get this in the hole. Nope. Birdie here. Okay. That's not enough. Okay, so I got par on that hole. So there's a water hazard here, so let's see if we'll hit it in the water. I'm guessing I'm gonna. Nope. Par 4 is probably pretty low for this hole. Oof. So now I'm basically... Ugh. Yeah, see that? The button released early. That's what I was saying. It's... This joystick isn't perfect. I think I need to clean it. Okay. Paying attention to the time because I have one more game to play today. So I'm on the green. This is the 7th hole. I think we'll get 9 in. So par for the course 36, and I'm already sitting at 37. Oh! Just killed me. Okay. Tee off. Now let's see if we can get this sucker. I don't think so, though. Oh. Oh, no. So those are two strokes that the button actually malfunctioned. Just missed the green on that. Just overshot the green on that. Baseball swing. Oh, baseball swing again. Okay. So let's see how this goes here. So, oh no, hitting it the wrong way. That's it, 54. So I got a 54. Par is 36. So not really that good. I haven't really played the game that much, but it was fun. It was worth playing. Um, don't know if I'd go out and get this game. Obviously, there's not a lot newer games available that represent golf. You know, this is a fairly early representation, but you know, historically, it's actually pretty decent. So that's it for golf. The last game on the list is Maze Craze. So I'll put that in. So I'm going to ask all of you, leave a comment if you know. So this game, I have the cartridge. I'm going to turn it on. And I know that it randomly generates the mazes, but this cartridge does something unusual. I don't want to buy another one. I can actually download the ROM. I have a, what is that cart called? Harmony cart. And I could put the ROM on that and play it from that just to see. But this game acts unusual to me, and I don't know if it's the chip on the cartridge or if it's actually the way the game works. So I will turn it on here, and you see it's has that multicolored pattern, and then it comes up with the maze. And I think that that's just it calculating the maze. I don't know for sure. I haven't really researched videos to see if that's what it does, but I'll do it again just to show it to you. So if you're familiar with that, if you know that that's correct, just shoot me a comment or just let me know in some way or another. You know, I'm on Twitter, and but you can put a comment in the video and let me know. So the history of Maze Craze. So Maze Craze was released in 1980, and it uses the joystick. So I never played this as a kid when I was younger either. I didn't know anyone that had it, so it really wasn't played. And that's why I'm unfamiliar with if the cartridge is supposed to do that multicolor thing at the beginning. It's designed for two players to compete head-to-head, but, it's only me, and there are some games you can play as one player, so we'll do that. I'll just run around the maze, and get out of there. But some of them, player 2 is required to do some stuff before you can leave the maze. So, and I'll show you that. I think game 2 is designed for that. The objective is to be the first to escape, and it's randomly generated top-down maze. So you're viewing it from the top. One player can play some of the games, like I said, and the instructions that are out there are kind of confusing. I didn't really read through them. I just breezed through them like I do, on the episodes. But it's an interesting game. And head-to-head, I can see how this can be pretty competitive because you can go down a path and it's the wrong path, and then you have to double back, and then there's cops and robber, or you're the cops and there's robbers in the game and the robbers can stop you. So I almost feel like it was originally intended that you're the robber trying to escape the cops, and the cops can get you, and catch you and stop you. There's some games that they just slow you down. The robbers just slow you down, um, but most of the time, um, they just stop you, and then the game's over when both players are stopped. That you can put out these obstacles that are just fake, that appear to be ends to a maze, and if the other person doesn't see you put it down, they can be confused and not go down a path. But if they do, they can go right through it. And like I said, I think this would be great for two players. Single player, it's just really finding your way through a maze, which isn't really all that exciting. But head to head, I can see it as being fun. So VGR ratings, the graphics are 3, which is decent graphics. You see up above me here, that's your player, and it actually looks, it's not a block. I mean, there's two little legs at the bottom here, and then 2 arms on this level, and a torso. So it's not the end of the world. And then the maze is randomly generated, which that's pretty good. The playability on VGR is 5, which is an irresistible, and I think that that's probably in the head-to-head mode. One player, it's just finding your way through a maze. You can go to a Denny's and turn the child's table mat over and play a maze on that if you really are into mazes. But head-to-head, I can see, racing someone out of a maze can be pretty fun, especially when there's things that are obstacles. There's also levels where part of the screen is invisible, and you have these chasers or things that kind of lead you through the map. I didn't play any of those in practice. If there's time today, maybe I'll pull one up, but I don't know. There's only 15 minutes left, so we'll just play it a little bit and switch through the games and kind of see what we can see. As for the irresistible, you be the judge. So I'll start on game 1, then I'll play 7, 8, and 16 if time exists or permits. So there it does that random thing again and does nothing. So this game does not have any robbers. And it's 2-player, and so it's just going to be me. So you hear the footsteps. That's what it sounds like when you run into a wall. So here I think I need to go up. And then I need to go to the top. So when you're competing with someone, oops, no, that's not the right way. When you're competing with someone, it probably gets stressful as you're trying to get out of the maze if you aren't looking where the end of the maze is. So there it is, simple maze, right? I'll do it again, and you'll see it randomly generates a new maze. And so now this one's a little more complicated, a lot more twists and turns. So I can go backwards and find exactly where to go. Speed run, right? So that's my speed run in game 1. So it's it's pretty easy. You can see how mazes work. And like I said, and every time you reset it, it goes through this odd color screen, and then it generates a new maze. And I don't know if that color screen is regular, but every time I do it, you see the maze changes. So I will go to, so there's 4 variations to each game. So actually, I will go back to game 1, and play. So this is a completely invisible map. So let's see how this one goes. So if I tap the button, it actually shows you the maze, but you can't hold it down. Okay, so I know where the exit is. So I don't know from where I am. Okay, so that's the invisibility. That was a pretty easy maze, actually. So we'll go to game 7 now. 4. So these little bricks at the top, that's when you have to capture the bad guys. And each bad guy you capture, there's a green, a blue, and a red. So you have to capture those 3. Actually, turn this off. Turn this back on. We'll game 4-1. We'll do that. So where we see the maze. 4-1. So you have to capture all 3 of those before you can get out of the maze. So let's see this. Oops. Okay, so red is captured, and he actually disappears because both of us captured him. No, this is a dead end. So I got blue. So they actually look like they move through in a pattern. So I got all 3 now. So now I can trace through. Okay, and see how to get out. Made a wrong turn. It's easy to make a wrong turn. You know, you trace through and you see and you don't memorize it, and so you get... Okay, so I get out. So that's not too terrible. And as I captured the bad guys, as I captured the robbers, you saw their color bars disappear at the top of the screen. So I'm going to go to game 7. So I don't remember what the variation of this game is. Oh, so this is the same as what I just showed you, but there's one that knocks you out. Oh, I'm terrible. I'm so stuck here. This was a total dead end. Okay, so we both died. The red guy took both of us out. So there's no color bars at the top here. So I don't think this is capture. I think any of these guys can knock us out. So I'm not going to play this one again. We'll go to game 8. So 8, this is a capture one again. So we'll see how this one goes. So where am I? Down here. So I captured blue. So both of us captured blue now. I captured red. Nope, that's not the way. So that's the funny thing, is he's captured 2 and he's just sat there at the beginning of the game. So I captured all of them now. and I exit the map. So game 16 was the variation. So let's 10, 11. Game 16. It starts you in two different spots, I guess. Color bars. Oh, it started him in the same place. Okay, so it appears that you go up. Oops. No, that's not right. You go down here. No, that's not right either. Hold on, hold on, hold on. You definitely go up. This is... So, that's Maze Craze for you. That's all 16 games. There's some variations that are different than others. It's not too bad. I think in head-to-head, it would probably be a lot more fun because you're competing against someone else, and you can probably trash talk quite a bit and say, "Hey, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you." And at the time, there really wasn't a lot of games out there, and so this was a challenge. I mean, these games were difficult, and they were fun because prior to that, it's like board games, and we had some electronic games, but there really wasn't video games. I mean, this is the infancy of video games, and if this didn't happen, the games that we have today probably wouldn't be where they are. Maybe we wouldn't even have them. So these were a necessary step. Atari 2600 was a very simple machine. It actually had a reduced instruction set chip in it, not a real RISC chip, but it was basically, I don't remember what the number is, but it was basically a chip that had fewer pinouts so that they had fewer things that they could do with them. And these games at the beginning kind of represent a lot of what they knew they could do. When you see the games that are later on, it's amazing to believe that they could do the same thing based on how the programs run, that they could do the same thing with this machine that people were doing here. So we'll get into those eventually. Like I said, I think it's going to be 8 weeks. I thought it was going to be 6, but I think it's going to be more like 8 weeks till I get through all my Atari games. Some of the later Atari games take advantage of the higher end graphics. I'm going to avoid the games. Some of the Atari games that were released were repeats of like ColecoVision and things like that. So I'll avoid those games. But some of the original Atari games actually did take advantage of the higher graphics. So anyway, we'll get to those eventually. It's 8 o'clock now, so I'm going to end my stream and upload the video. If you want to see more videos like this of me playing Atari 2600 games, I'm going to go through my whole collection. I have over 400 games. Probably 350 of them are unique. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to continue to do that. And then after I do the 2600 games, I'm going to go through Intellivision, ColecoVision, Atari 5200, Atari 7800, maybe Nintendo Entertainment System. I also have Sega. I have a Super Nintendo. I have all the PlayStations and Xboxes and stuff. But I probably won't get into the disc-based games because those are after my intense gaming life ended. Although I did play some PC games. I might do some ROMs. I recently bought a I don't remember what it's called, but it's one of those units that plays all the ROMs that are out there, and so maybe I'll get into some of those games. I may play some of the prototypes on here after I do all my Atari games. There are some prototypes that are out there that are pretty interesting, so I might play those for you too, or maybe I'll do those in extras. But anyway, it's 8 o'clock, as my clock says right now. It's actually slow because the I didn't wind it over the weekend. But anyway, if you like, please subscribe. If you like seeing this kind of content, please subscribe. Please like the videos. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I will get back to you. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy. Um, please wash your hands. Please social distance. And I will see you next time. Thanks. Have a great day.